Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. With the latest release of the 2.5 story, there's been a lot of polarization occurring between the community. It's been a lot of discontent, a lot of argumentation, which I think is healthy, by the way, for the space. And I think it speaks volumes with regards to true good storytelling finally surfacing here in Wuthering Waves. As I like to tell people all the time, with death, real stakes at hand, real sacrifice, people with real convictions clashing, comes a actual thought-provoking story that invites the community to have good conversation. I love this shit. It's awesome. Am I pissed that Phrolova's out? Yep, but I wouldn't want it any other way, boys. Look at all this discussion that's happening. Look at all this debate that's occurring. It's good. It's good shit. It actually can grow a community as well and help people grow up. But with that said, I want to talk to you guys about my personal thoughts on why I think Rover's a hypocrite and a little bitch. And I also want to talk to you about why I was rooting for Phrolova. And what's interesting is I don't think anybody that's rooting for Phrolova, which there's a lot of us, are rooting for her because we think she's right. In fact, to the contrary, I think all of us know she's in the wrong. I think all of us know she's cooked in the head and she's lost her sanity and she's obsessed to a detriment. We're rooting for her more so because we understand how she arrived at that boiling point. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about for her perspective. And then I want to talk to you about why I'm at odds with fucking Rover, bro. Oh my God, he's so cringe right now. And it has a lot to do with him being pompous and a bit condescending and getting on a high horse he's not qualified to fucking get on based on his past decisions. So I want to get into that. But before we do, yes, there will be some spoilers. So if you've already watched 2.5, go ahead and click off this video and come back after you've watched it if you're still interested. Now, let's start with Rover. One of the biggest problems I had in the playthrough was a line he told to Phrolova. And it was a very spiteful, like piercing line. He said that she didn't understand the value of human life. I thought that was the most repulsive, insulting shit that he in particular could say to Phrolova. This motherfucker has been living in a Disney movie the entire Wuthering Waves playthrough. Little bro has experienced no L's, nothing but W's. He's had no sacrifice and no loss ever since he's wiped his memory. And so for somebody like that, who I would compare to some Beverly Hills spoiled brat with a gold spoon in his mouth, to go and tell somebody who has quite literally lost everything. This girl lost her family. She lost her civilization from her town. A fucking meteor dropped and just obliterated everyone and only kept her alive. She then experienced countless amounts of failures trying to get these people back. But before that point, actually, you know what? I'm skipping ahead. Before we even get to that point, she then got used and abused by scientists in an effort to try and bring forth immortality. Not her, the scientist. She was just trying to figure out a way to bring back her family. She then got like shunned by people from the town who she was still trying to scientifically experience or test how to, like, I guess, bring about reincarnation, which I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now. She's an idiot. That's a fool's errand. It ain't happening. But she was doing it in an innocent way. No corrupt bullshit or any of that. She was just merely trying to search the fucking highest of heavens to figure out if there was a way to bring people back. And I want you guys to just take a second and bear with us here, which I'm sure a lot of you already know, but losing your entire family and everyone surrounding your town in a single meteor blast, with you being the only one left, that's a level of trauma you could say 7 billion people on the planet will never experience. That's a 1 in 10 billion type of traumatic event, right? And so, of course, it did a lot of damage to her. But did she like go off the deep end immediately? Absolutely not. In fact, she kind of just went on living and started playing with her violin and doing shows until she ran into the fucking Rover who told her to start over. I just start over. You just do the same thing. We'll save that for the review. That's a whole nother thing. What I'm trying to tell you guys though is, like, Phrolova, as we all know, has had a very tragic past. And so a lot of people are rooting for her because they understand that she isn't evil. She's in pain. She's in despair. She's lost a lot. And she just grew obsessed and unfortunately went off the deep end, right? But for a girl like that to, be who she is today, which is this fucking villain in Wuthering Waves, especially in a game where we never really get to see any real villains. Her and Christopher are like the real fucking first villains we really got to see. Yeah, a lot of people were rooting for her, but we all know that she's wrong, absolutely. But here's the thing. Rover had low tier aura in how he handled that whole interaction. And I think this is why everybody is on his ass right now. Even the way he threw that line at her, he threw it in spite. You don't understand the value of human life. He said that because she clocked his little punk ass. She was like, this is funny. Remember, he was like, you've gone too far. And she's like, that's funny coming from somebody who has immortality, endless possibilities, has built up all types of insurmountable precious memories, and you wiped them all. You know what I'm saying? This is coming from you. That's when he got mad and said, you don't understand the value of human life. It's like, you know, like bro was losing aura points as the debate went on. And there was so much hypocrisy there. I already explained to you the human life hypocrisy. Now let's talk about the you've gone too far hypocrisy, as well as the memory wipe and all that stuff. Memory wipe, who's to say he didn't wipe? Because we don't know, right? Who's to say he didn't wipe his memory because he went through a pain similar to hers and he couldn't bear the thought of dealing with it, and so he wiped his memory? That's a possibility. And if it did, makes him all the more the hypocrite, because this girl's been living with it for like hundreds of years. So that's one possibility. There's only so many ways for you to wipe your memory too. We can sit here, concoct it all, but the point still stands. Wiping a memory is like, there's so many relationships and things that occurred that you're just throwing behind. Phrolova was just one of a potential of people, a plethora of people, possibly. You just threw all that shit behind. It's cowardice, and it's also hypocrisy. But the you've gone too far line, that's one I want to get into. And what sucks is I know a lot of you guys watching this haven't been locked in and informing yourself on the story and the intricacies of some of the variables of the story that tie into the story's ever progressing stage. Right now, the you've gone too far line for me, I think he gone too far with Shorekeeper. I thought he went too far with Kartathea. The people y'all wanted saves was the worst fucking decisions he ever made. In fact, they were anything but greater good decisions. They were the complete polar opposite. If you guys understand how the Tethys system works, I'm about to like yap your ears off with this jargon for a bit. You'll probably appreciate it. The Tethys system is a anti-lament system in the Black Shores, and Shorekeeper was the core of this system's functionality. He was also like a failsafe. The thing is, this system is designed to store lament and study it. It is like operating off of destructive, I would say, essence or emotions, pain and suffering and destruction and shit like that. It takes these, studies them, and then it's able to tell the humanity, essentially, like the good side, the fighting force, when lament is coming, even when it's life-threatening or extinction-threatening. This is a super-powered AI machine that was built by an ancient civilization, guys, to counteract the lament. And when you know, like when you think of ancient civilizations, you think of the highest form of intelligence, similar to like what people like to talk about in real life. Like the ancient civilizations are the ones who had the fucking most craziest technology. Them niggas was way ahead of us, bro. You know, motherfuckers built the pyramids and shit, like the engineers and construction and whatever. These guys designed that Tethys system to counteract the lament in a very, very particular way. And clearly a lot of energy, effort, trial, and error went into designing the system. Rover came along, the past Rover, and helped tailor to how it functions. Here's the crazy thing about this. This dude Rover saved Shorekeeper because she was a waifu. We all fucking know it. They had a personal connection. So he saved her. But in saving her, he took the core of the Tethys system out and then told the Tethys system, reprogrammed it, and said, hey, instead of operating on destruction, fear, pain, misery, and all that shit, we're gonna take all that away. We're gonna take your core out too, and now you're gonna operate on harmony and like selling off into the rainbow, essentially. Like that's just like to sum it up. He pretty much changed the very functionality, the full optimization of protecting humanity against the fucking lament, battling the lament with the highest form of AI intelligence and safeguard. He obliterated that by saving Shorekeeper. That is the biggest fucking form of hypocrisy that I have ever seen, because he absolutely remembers doing that, but he gonna point at old girl and like tell her, oh, you're wasting your time. You're doing all this stuff. I can't let you do this. I'm killing her for the greater good. Like, dog, you put humanity at a bigger risk than she has. That's the funny thing. And I dare say, this is gonna come if the writer is good, that is gonna come into play in a future update, and he's gonna fucking eat himself alive over it. Because what's been happening with good writing is Rover has been put in predicaments where he makes the choice that the audience, us, low-key wants him to do, but there's consequences for doing that later on. Kartathea is another fucking consequence, and I feel like the story is low-key going in this direction. We're cooking early, but I just want to I want you guys to be aware of the hypocrisy of this fucking dude. He never chose the greater good before. He's only choosing it right now because he got fucking cooked in a debate, and he's salty. and he's not, for the first time, he's being selfish again. Not greater good, he's just being selfish because he's salty about fucking Phrolova. But Kartathea, saving her was another selfish act. If he would have killed her, even Kartathea herself understood that her living meant being a risk to humanity because the Thrunodian can always potentially corrupt her. She's a perfect vessel. The Thrunodian has immortality. It doesn't go no fucking where. But the thing is, the Thrunodian has to have a vessel, and not everybody can be its vessel. In fact, they experimented with the Thrunodian for like thousands of goddamn years, and they couldn't find a single vessel that can match with him. You know who can? Kartathea. And him choosing to save her, 2 different times, there's danger for this. For humanity's sake, by the way, or we can just say Rena Sita. Let's put it on a smaller scale. Rena Sita's sake, it's a threat what he did. First, it's a threat because if he would have lost that battle against Fleur de Lis, because that was the other alternative, fight Fleur de Lis, right? If he'd have lost that battle, well, then it was just swallowed all of Rena Sita, everybody would got killed, versus just killing Kartathea, who told him to do it, and just avoiding that entirely and sealing the Thrunodian away for who knows how many years until they find another vessel. That could be like thousands of years. You chose the lesser good option, risking humanity because once again you had a hard on for fucking Fleur de Lis. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, you can sit here and deny that, Rover Copers, but that's the truth. He chose the more riskier option, and the only reason he won the battle is because Kartathea sacrificed herself. That's the he would have lost. Bro would have got his ass whipped by Fleur de Lis. Child, I'm getting heated up in here. I'm just saying that was a risky move, and you know what? The move isn't done with, because we just learned in 2.5 that Kartathea / Fleur de Lis consumes frequencies all around her subconsciously, which means if it's corrupt, she consumes that shit too, subconsciously, which means she can let the Thrunodian back in, no problem. That's why she had to get sent off to the Black Shores for further testing to make sure everything's all right with her. But here's where the problem lies, boys. Oh, here's where the problem lies, boys. All we have. So you got Kartathea, perfect vessel for the Thrunodian, at the Black Shores, where your dumbass took the core out of the Tethys system, and it's no longer optimizing on the highest degree. Now it's relying on humans to anticipate when limit is coming, and them humans ain't as smart as that super AI computer. So a crazy event's gonna happen. She gonna get corrupted, and the Tethys system not gonna be doing his job properly because your goofy ass wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho, both 2 times, and then you're gonna face an even greater calamity. Chat, I cannot prove none of this, right? I'm merely having a discussion to you, but I don't have to prove it. It doesn't even have to come true. What I'm telling you is that the consequences of this guy's actions and the choices he made can put humanity at an even greater risk than Phrolova has ever done. All because this nigga was being selfish and wanted to be Captain Save-A-Ho those 2 times, but didn't want to be Captain Save-A-Ho with Phrolova. Does that make sense? Now you see the hypocrisy here, because it's like you're getting on your high horse looking at her like she's all, you're gonna do all this stuff, it's not good, you're creating a hell. Brother, she just trying to bring back her family and shit, but you over here putting the whole fucking world at risk for 2 women, for your harem. You see what I'm saying, guys? That's why I said he's a little bitch and a hypocrite. Now, at the end of the day, I think Rover will grow from this. And I think he's going to run into the same problem he's been running into by wiping his fucking memories, because all these choices where he keeps trying to do this Disney movie shit and be this hero. I'm going to save everyone, leave no one behind. There eventually is going to be a consequence for this Disney hero naive fucking mentality that's going to cause even more despair for everyone, and lives are going to be lost based on the choices he's been making. If there's a good writer in the office, that's how it's going to come out. If there's a shit writer in the office, then we're never going to see these outcomes, because right now it doesn't make any sense. The Tethys system, once again, to end this off, functions. It pretty much fights lament by studying lament. This nigga straight up said, fuck studying lament, study flowers and happiness to counteract lament. Brother, what? And oh, take your core out too, so there's no fail-safe plan now. All right, if shit hits the fan, well, you don't have a core anymore. It's like, bro, the lament's gonna come in, y'all are cooked. You know, so like, and then you got, once again, Carthathea in the Black Shores, potentially gonna get corrupted. Oh, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, boys. Hypocrisy. That's gonna sum it up. So that's my thoughts on the whole thing. Holy yappening, boys. Fuck, I went off there. It's very frustrating because I saw a lot of people sucking off the Rover like this motherfucker has done no wrong, or like he deserves to have the moral high ground over Phrolova. And I'm just like, bro, no. And look, boys, let me make myself clear. The same chain of events could play out. He kills her, but he's much more empathetic and understanding of why she is the way she is and how she got there. If he was just like, Phrolova, listen, I can only imagine the pain you've went through, you know, losing all these people and shit. But the reality of the situation is this just isn't the way. And I don't even think I'm somebody who has the right to tell you this, but unfortunately, fate has it. I'm the one in this predicament with you, and I can't let you do this. You know what I'm sorry. It just can't happen. I have fucking empathy for you. I'm sad that this has happened to you, and I hate that I can't remember what happened in the past and the promise I broke. But its point still stands. You can't let this happen. He didn't have, if he would have came over like that, I don't think anybody would have hated him. They'd have been like, damn, I feel him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Also, he skipped a couple steps. Motherfucker went from A to D. Right? He went from, all right, fuck it, I'm killing you, bitch. Yo, man, he had a couple more steps there before you go straight to kill him. It's like he handled it honestly in the most honestly logical way possible, because when shit hits the fan, you have to make quick and swift decisions. And he made a quick and swift decision, right? I'm not saying Rover's fucking wrong. I'm just saying he was a real bitch and dickhead in how he handled that whole shebang, bro. That's pretty much like wrapping up my thoughts. Actually, you know what? I got a couple more things I want to talk about. Video ain't over yet. The promise ordeal, right? Everybody's like, she just met him for like 10 minutes in a play. Why is she so like hung up over him and stuff? First, I agreed with y'all, but then after thinking about it, you got to understand, guys, again, this is a girl who lost everything and had nobody else in the world. This was before she went on her fucking villain arc, guys, okay? She finally had met somebody where she had a connection with the level of trauma that she dealt with. Brother, that 10 minutes to me, finally like meeting somebody who can understand me on some capacity, that would be a lot more valuable to me as well. And then the guy fucking is charming, right? I'm like, maybe she's attracted to him. Obviously, he's the fucking Rizzler. She's like, damn, maybe I met somebody. Maybe I can get something going here. And then he says, he's gonna see me for my next play. Bro, for somebody who's been in her type of trauma, I get it, man. I do. I fucking get it. I've never had that happen before, but I could understand. I could empathize, most importantly. You see what I'm saying? And so that's my thoughts on that. I think there's even more stuff I can talk about between these two. But what I want you guys to know, most importantly, as all the passion coming out of me and conviction I'm sharing, none of the things I'm saying are the truth. Like, well, not the truth. They're not factual. They're not the gold standard. I'm just merely expressing my sentiment and my point of view on how I interpreted these things and how they played out and why I feel the way I feel. But in no way or capacity am I sitting here telling this camera my way is the best fucking way. Fuck y'all and how y'all feel. Because that shit is incredibly cringe. And a lot of you guys do that shit. And it's just like, bro, grow the fuck up, man. Like, share your opinion. Share it firmly. But keep in mind, brother, we're just sharing our thoughts on the story, man. All right, it ain't that goddamn deep. All right, let's simmer down here, boys. All right, peace, love, and happiness. That's gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to doing my review. We're gonna go in on a lot of stuff.